Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Imagine the grand symphony of global power, long dominated by Washington, London, and Brussels. For decades, these Western capitals have set the tempo for international relations, economics, and security, orchestrating the rules of the game. Their influence has shaped the world's institutions and alliances, creating a familiar rhythm that many believed would last indefinitely. Now, a new harmony rises from the East, the BRICS bloc, reshaping the world order. This coalition, once seen as a loose gathering of emerging economies, is now asserting itself as a formidable force, challenging the established hierarchy and offering an alternative vision for global cooperation. Two European nations, Turkey and Sweden, are now turning to face this new music. Their leaders are openly exploring relationships that would have seemed unthinkable just a few years ago, signaling a willingness to adapt to shifting global dynamics. Today, we witness a historic shift as these countries make calculated overtures toward BRICS, signaling a potential redrawing of the geopolitical map. Their actions hint at a future where alliances are more fluid, and loyalties are no longer taken for granted. The gravitational pull of BRICS, representing 45% of the world's population and over a third of its economic output, has become impossible to ignore. Its rapid economic growth and expanding influence are drawing attention from nations seeking new opportunities and greater independence from traditional Western powers. For Turkey, a NATO member, expressing interest in BRICS is a bold declaration of strategic autonomy. It's a move that signals Ankara's desire to balance its Western commitments with new partnerships, reflecting a nuanced approach to its national interests. For Sweden, fostering a media partnership with BRICS signals a recognition of a changing information landscape. By engaging with new voices and narratives, Sweden is positioning itself to better understand and influence the evolving global conversation. These moves ripple outward, touching global trade, finance, and the cohesion of Western alliances. The decisions made by Turkey and Sweden could inspire other nations to reconsider their own alignments, potentially accelerating a broader transformation. Are these the first steps of a broader European realignment or pragmatic hedging in an uncertain world? As the balance of power shifts, Europe faces difficult choices about its future direction and the partners it will trust. One thing is clear: the old certainties are fading, and a new era of global competition and cooperation is dawning before our eyes. The term BRIC was first introduced in 2001 by a Goldman Sachs economist who saw Brazil, Russia, India, and China as the rising stars of the global economy. These four nations, each with vast populations and rapidly growing markets, were predicted to become the engines of future economic growth, challenging the dominance of established Western powers. The idea was simple but powerful. By grouping these emerging economies together, the world could better understand the shifting balance of global influence. What began as a catchy label in financial reports soon evolved into a rallying banner for countries eager to assert themselves on the world stage. For many, BRIC represented hope for a new era, one where developing nations could challenge a Western-dominated global system and demand a greater say in international affairs. The first BRICS summit in 2009 marked a turning point, transforming the concept from a financial acronym into a real geopolitical force. When South Africa joined in 2010, the group became BRICS, expanding its reach and amplifying its voice for the global South. This addition signaled a commitment to inclusivity and solidarity among emerging economies. The bloc's shared goal was clear: to create a more equitable, multipolar international order. BRICS began pushing for reforms at major institutions like the IMF and World Bank, demanding fairer representation and a system that reflected the realities of a changing world. To back up their ambitions, BRICS built its own institutions, the New Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, declaring a new era of financial independence from the West. These organizations were designed to fund development projects and provide economic stability for member nations. With an impressive $100 billion in initial capital, these institutions began financing vital infrastructure and development projects while also offering a financial safety net for members facing economic shocks. This move empowered BRICS countries to chart their own course. The message to the world was unmistakable. BRICS would no longer play by the old rules set by others. Instead, they would shape their own destiny and influence the global agenda. The alliance was officially born, And as BRICS began to make its mark, the world started to take notice of this powerful new force on the international stage. In 2024, BRICS underwent its most significant expansion since its founding, welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE into its ranks. This bold move marked a turning point, signaling the bloc's ambition to reshape the global order and amplify the voices of emerging economies. Soon after, Indonesia joined, transforming BRICS Plus into a 10-member powerhouse. Together, these nations now represent 45% of the world's population and over 35% of global GDP, making BRICS Plus a formidable force on the international stage. The expansion has not only increased the bloc's economic weight, but also its cultural and geopolitical diversity. The bloc now commands 30% of global oil production, giving it unprecedented leverage in energy markets. With key oil producers like Russia, Iran, and the UAE, BRICS Plus can influence prices and policies, challenging the dominance of traditional Western-led institutions. Yet BRICS Plus is not a monolithic anti-Western alliance. Instead, it's a diverse coalition, united by a shared desire for strategic autonomy, economic opportunity, and a more balanced global order. Each member brings its own priorities and perspectives to the table. For Russia and Iran, the bloc is a vital lifeline against Western sanctions, offering new avenues for trade, investment, and diplomatic support in a challenging geopolitical climate. For the UAE, BRICS Plus is a vehicle for economic diversification, helping it reduce reliance on oil and foster innovation, technology, and global partnerships. For India and Brazil, it's a platform to champion the interests of the global South, advocating for fairer trade, development, and a stronger voice in world affairs. The upcoming Rio Summit will be the first to bring all 10 members together. Leaders will focus on deepening economic integration, promoting the use of local currencies in trade, and addressing urgent global issues like climate change and food security. The world will be watching closely as BRICS Plus charts its future course, with media and analysts speculating on the bloc's next moves and its potential to reshape international relations. The decisions made in Rio will ripple across the globe, affecting financial markets, trade flows, and diplomatic alliances far beyond the bloc's borders. The multipolar world is no longer just a theory. It's taking shape before our eyes, as BRICS Plus emerges as a central player in a rapidly changing global landscape. Turkey's interest in BRICS is rooted in frustration with its stalled EU bid and a desire for strategic autonomy. As a NATO member straddling Europe and Asia, Turkey has increasingly pursued an independent foreign policy, balancing Western ties with pragmatic partnerships in the East. Expressing interest in BRICS is a logical next step, offering new markets, investment, and a platform to amplify Turkey's influence. While NATO membership and relations with the US pose obstacles, the economic allure of BRICS Plus is powerful. The bloc represents a massive market for Turkish goods and services, and joining could unlock immense trade and investment opportunities. For Erdogan's government, this is about securing Turkey's economic future as global growth shifts southward. Engaging with BRICS is not abandoning the West, but building new bridges to the East. Turkey aims to have a firm footing in both worlds. Sweden's engagement with BRICS is subtler, focused on media and information. In March 2025, Sweden's News Voice signed a content exchange agreement with TV BRICS International Media Network. This partnership isn't political or economic, but it's significant in an age where narratives shape policy. It reflects a growing recognition in Sweden that the BRICS perspective must be understood directly, not just through Western filters. TV BRICS now partners with over 80 countries, and Sweden joins a diverse group seeking to diversify information sources. For Sweden, understanding the worldview of nearly half the planet is a strategic necessity. The partnership allows direct access to BRICS analysis and expert opinion, enriching Sweden's information ecosystem. It's a quiet but profound step toward a more multipolar understanding of global affairs. Turkey's potential entry and Sweden's engagement send tremors through the global economic landscape. BRICS's long-term goal is de-dollarization, reducing reliance on the US dollar in global trade. With Turkey, a G20 economy, settling more trade in rubles or yuan, each transaction chips away at dollar dominance. This shift insulates economies from US monetary policy and sanctions. Trump's return to the US presidency and tariff threats have only accelerated this drive. Turkey could become a primary gateway for BRICS Plus into Europe, reorienting trade routes and attracting massive infrastructure investment. For European businesses, this presents both challenges and opportunities to tap into new markets. For Sweden, the media partnership is a soft entry point, building relationships with economies that will dominate future growth. By understanding BRICS markets, Swedish industries can better compete and collaborate. It's a long-term investment in economic intelligence and global relevance. The prospect of a NATO member joining BRICS sends shockwaves through the Western alliance. Turkey's move raises questions about security, intelligence sharing, and the coherence of NATO in an era of great power competition. For the US, it's a strategic setback. For the EU, it forces a rethink of its Eastern strategy and the future of Turkish membership. Ankara's pivot could empower Eurosceptic voices and challenge the EU's narrative as a transformative force. Sweden's media partnership, though less dramatic, signals independent thinking even as it joins NATO. It hints at a more nuanced European approach, keeping channels open with global powers. The bloc versus bloc mentality is giving way to complexity and pragmatism. Analysts are divided on these developments. Some warn that Turkey's flirtation with BRICS risks isolation from traditional allies without full acceptance by new partners, given BRICS's internal contradictions. Others see it as a pragmatic adaptation to a world where powers diffuse, not betrayal. For BRICS, Turkey's interest is a symbolic victory, but there are concerns about importing NATO politics into the bloc. The focus must remain on economic development and reform, not old rivalries. China views European engagement as validation of the BRICS model and a win in the battle of narratives. Sweden's media partnership is seen as a soft but important victory, showing growing global interest in the BRICS perspective. The world is watching as new alliances and narratives take shape. We are living through a period of profound change as global power shifts. Turkey and Sweden's overtures to BRICS signal a new European realism, recognizing that the world is no longer divided into simple camps. For Turkey, courting BRICS challenges the architecture of global security. For Sweden, it acknowledges a changed global conversation. These are acts of adaptation, not rebellion, as nations seek to maximize influence in a multipolar world. The West faces a choice: enforce discipline or adapt to new realities. The risk of miscalculation is high, and the story is far from over. The map of the world is being redrawn, and we must all pay close attention.